10 years into the future. The computer began to hum loudly. Newton had to plug his ears. Suddenly Newton found himself looking up at the blue sky of Earth. The sun was shining down on him from outside the porthole. Let's see here. Which is clearer? Newton pressed a button on the side of the time capsule. The door to the coffin-shaped time box opened up. He crawled out and found himself standing on a desert plain. Newton looked out in the distance and saw the wreckage and ruins of a great city. From the shape of the skyscraper's skeletons, Newton realized that he was on the continent of the United States. Newton said to himself, I can't tell if this destruction was brought about by me or some other enemy. Maybe it was brought about by the Black Mutants. Newton then said, stay here. Don't let anybody see you. If they do, disappear for a few days. I'm going to explore this place, Newton said to the time machine. After that, Newton explored Earth. He found out that the city in the distance that he was staring at was the wreckage of Los Angeles. He visited it and found something interesting. A band of people were living in the rubble of LA and were worshiping a huge 200-foot statue of the Black Mutant that the Black Mutant had made and forced them to worship. The people were very nervous looking and were always looking up at the sky as if they were afraid of it. Newton asked one of the frightened people why they were worshipping a stupid statue, and also questioning why they were afraid of the sky. The girl said, Senor, if you don't do what we are doing, the Black Mutant will kill you. You mean the Black Mutant is still alive? Si, senor. Newton looked up at the huge, black, evil-looking statue of the Black Mutant that was standing in the twisted shrapnel of the city of L.A. and asked, did the Black Mutant destroy the city? Si, senor, said a man. I lost most of my family in the attack. Why do you worship him then? Newton asked again. If you don't, then he will reach down out of the sky and smash you. When was the last time this happened? 2 months ago. That means Teddy lost the fight. The Black Mutant must be as strong as God now. He is God. He is God incarnate. Newton felt angered and jealous and depressed and said, more like Satan incarnate. Newton was so angry that he took out his phaser and put it on kill. He aimed it at the base of the Black Mutant statue and fired at its feet. A huge explosion occurred at the feet of the statue. The huge statue, with its fist raised over its head, rocked back and forth. The people yelled out, "Oi, oi, oi!" and ran about in terror. The statue tipped forward and crashed on its face. Newton was showered a little by the shrapnel. You should not have done it, senor. The Black Mutant will kill you. But suddenly the man noticed that Newton wasn't being punished by the mutant. An hour passed and still nothing happened. The next day Newton left the happy people. Apparently the Black Mutant either didn't punish people anymore, or he no longer existed. In the night, Newton entered his time machine. The computer on board had asked, "What do you request I do now?" "Push on to the future again. I want to see if the Black Mutant punished I want to see the Black Mutant punishes me for destroying the statue of him. Newton lay down in the coffin-shaped time machine. The time machine began to travel on into the future. Day and night went by every second. Speed up the future, demanded Newton. Now weeks were traveling by every second. The terrain Newton was laying on remained the same. Newton yawned and said, "Increase it." Now months were traveling by every second. Nothing was changing, just the seasons. Newton yawned. "This will take forever." The sun was traveling overhead in a blur. Newton yelled, "Increase the power to half speed." Suddenly, the centuries were traveling by at a tremendous speed, 3 centuries a second. Newton thought to himself, "I guess the Black Mutant is dead?" Newton looked out the porthole of his time machine and saw that the terrain he was laying on had still not changed, except for strange-looking trees that were shooting up all around him. Newton also felt the ground rise and fall from the twisting and folding of the continent on its plates. Newton was disappointed that he didn't see any human structures like buildings and houses popping up around him. Newton then yelled, "All right, increase time speed to full power." The computer said, "If I do, the world you are on will end." Well, then put it to the two digits from the top of full power. When Newton said that, he felt the capsule jerk. The computer said, "We are now traveling 20 millenniums a second into the future." Newton looked out the window and saw strange buildings shooting up around him, then crumbling and decaying away, only to be replaced with other alien-looking buildings. Newton said, "All right, stop it. No, continue what you're doing." Suddenly the computer said, "We are now 2 million years into the future from the time we landed on this continent." Suddenly Newton watched a huge building grow in front of his eyes out in the distance of the planet as the rocky skyscrapers around him crumbled away into dust. The skyscraper started out small, but it grew rapidly as the millenniums passed by. A few thousand years later, the building reached 10 miles up into the sky and 5 miles wide. It was shiny and magnificent. Suddenly, as the millenniums passed away, the thing turned black and began to crack up. Also, the sky turned red and cloudy. Newton noticed that trashy-looking debris began to scatter and dissolve around him. "Stop the time trip. I want to see what has become of Earth. What has become of Earth's humanity." "As you wish," said the computer. "I must tell you this. We are 50 million years into the future." Newton climbed outside the time box and noticed something strange about the elements he was standing on. His feet sank into the ground like it was made out of mud, but it felt